daydreaming about dragons. Reply show Sierra. Here we go. Let's do this. My midweek reply shows are all replies to emails and things you folks sent me, MP3s, replies on Anchor, whatever it is. It's not a regular show. It's usually a little shorter, and it's only replies. So if replies aren't your thing, you can skip it. If they are your thing, come on along for the ride. Here we go. We're going to start with an email, and then we're going to hit an MP3. Ready? So I got an email from Jeremy from the blog Take On Rules, and I will have a link to Take On Rules because he talks about it. And he says, this is Jeremy. I blog at takeonrules.com. After listening to episode 21, Artifacts, I wanted to share one of my previous artifact generating methods. In years past, we would pass a lot of notes during games. We all loved our hidden agendas. As a GM, I started keeping a note tube. Whenever someone passed a note, once read, they would throw it in a tube. As the tube filled up, we would spend an evening dumping the tube out and reading them out loud. I wrote about a particularly amazing note-generating session at Irv the Mole, which is a blog post that is in the show notes. P.S. I love your podcast, appreciating that you muse out loud as you noodle on a topic. Jeremy, thank you. I love Take On Rules. It's an amazing blog, and thank you for your email. I love your method of generating artifacts. That is great, and I think it's just fantastic. I don't know what else to say about it other than this. As I get older, and I'm in my mid-40s now, artifacts become more and more important, right? I can look at threads on RPG.net that are almost 20 years old, and they're nice ways to remember old games. But as we know, those forums aren't going to be here forever. They fade. So I would recommend to everybody gaming, cling to something, have something to hold on to so you can remember these good times you're having with your friends. Take a picture of you and your friends having fun. Take a post-game selfie when you're all, post-game high and you're all excited. Take a selfie of everybody with that smile on their face so you can remember. It will seem silly, but in 10 years you will thank me. And if you really want to go nuts and everybody's cool with it, post it on social media. Tag in the game designer. Hey, we just had fun playing your game or your module or your whatever. Thank you. These are the smiles you help make. Because there's so much toxicity out there. It's really nice to see smiles. Share it. And sharing notes that you pass back and forth, that's amazing. That's really cool. Really, really cool. One thing I did the other day, so another nice artifact to have is recording it. I'm streaming the Blades in the Dark game, and so I have a recording of it. And not only is that nice as a GM to look at things on a technical level, it's lovely as a human to just have these moments in time, frozen in digital amber. And there was this moment where a character, an NPC, gave a big reveal. And Strash and Lauren's faces were in total shock. And I did I paused it, and I did a screen save, and then I cropped it, and I sent it to them. And I was like, this is your face when Lizette Rowan told you her nefarious plans. And I loved it. It just, like, the looks on your faces on their faces were amazing. And to have that forever is a gift. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate, Jeremy, you coming forward and telling me how you saved some artifacts. That's really cool. That's great stuff. And I'm agreeing with you and nodding 100%. I love the blog post, and I will have it in the show notes. Thanks again.
Hey, Judd, Aaron Clark. 1 minute is not enough on Anchor voicemail. I need at least a minute 30. Sharing this voice memo with you in response to a recent episode about GM rehearsals, which sounded like a response to an experience you had with running modules where maybe key details were missed, and you didn't want to miss those details. And I agree with you, there are an awful lot of details or key bits or relevant information buried in the text of a module or an encounter location. So what I found that works for me is to grab a couple of highlighters, yellow, orange, and green, but you could probably use whatever color you wanted to. And first mark out in yellow a couple of the key details, phrases, words that I want to make sure I don't miss in that encounter location, miss in my descriptions to the players. And then highlight in orange the monster stat block so I can always find it and I'm not poking around trying to figure out what's that monster's armor class or special ability or what does it do. And then highlight in green all of the secret bits or those things that are there to be discovered, like the secret door or the treasure or the keys buried in the muck pile or whatever it is. And what I've found is that when I go back and actually run the module, I have these kind of immediate visual cues about what's relevant in the encounter, what's dangerous in the encounter, and then what's there to be discovered in the encounter. And that works well for me. Maybe it'll work well for you or some of your other listeners. Though I've had some friends just be horrified that I would mark in my printed module all this highlighting. But what else am I going to do with it? Sell it on eBay in 20 years for $50? I don't know. All right, man. Thanks for your podcast. Really enjoying it. Looks like I went 1:20. No, 2:20.
Aron, thank you so much for dropping me a line. I appreciate the time it took. I like the background noise. It sounds like you are broadcasting from Tron, and there were light cycles going by, which I totally dig. I appreciate you doing that while in a cyberpunk computer world from the 80s. That's really cool. I love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Yeah, I think so. What I want out of my modules in the future is, and maybe I need to write this, right? Maybe this isn't something I need to be asking for. Maybe this is something I need to be writing. And that is, I agree with you. Highlighting is the way to go with the way modules are currently written. Here's the problem, I think. I think module writers are writing poetry, and what they should be writing are little things so that poetry comes out at the table, right? It should be bullet points. Bullet points, and that is it. Bullet points with words with which I can make poetry when I'm describing the room, when it's describing the adventure space to my players. You know? Little things like describe the room, here are 5 words. Describe the room, interacting with the room, here are 5 things not to forget. Boom, done. It's all there in big font. So when I look down at it, there it is. In the meantime, before, when they're not inspirational, absolutely, you can get, the highlighter is the way to go. The highlighter is absolutely the way to go. A great example of inspirational adventure making is Band of Blades. There's an adventure table, and you roll on it as the GM, and you that's how you make the missions. And I love that. I love inspirational tables that just give you some vague stuff, and then you make something up. That's so cool. So cool. And that's not to say that, you don't make up your own missions in Blades. You do in Band of Blades, but inspiration is where I want. So, yep. Thank you for the feedback. And yeah, highlighters are definitely how I dealt with that problem too. So we are on the same page, and I appreciate you calling in and offering your time. Thanks, Aron. I'll see you next time. I hope your adventures are going well and are well highlighted. And that's going to be it for Reply Show Sierra. If you would like to support the show, you can. Hit the Reply Show button. It's at the end of the show notes. If you want to send me some money, that's appreciated. Take some time to do this. Not a ton of time, but some time. And I appreciate being compensated. Thank you. If that's not your thing, you can also purchase a copy of my book, The Dictionary of Moo. Those are linked in the show notes. If Science Fantasy Mars sounds like your cup of cuppa, get yourself some. And the other way you can do it is by contributing to the conversation, right? However that is for you. You can send me an email, you can send me an MP3, you can send me an anchor message, you can write a blog post and send me a link, you can tweet at me, you can make your own podcast and send me a link to that. Whatever it is that you have to do to continue the conversation, or however it is, let me know. I'd love to chat with you. And the midweek reply shows are starting to really take off. I'm starting to get really amazing content from you all, and I appreciate it. Thank you all so much. I will see you Sunday night at 9 EST. The next show goes up. See you then.